Hello, interactive storytellers. How are you doing? Today is Thursday, and my name is Anna Sabramowitz, your interactive storytelling coach. And today I'm going to talk to you about two things that are absolutely killing your pitch. And when I say killing, I mean the kind of killing, as far as when you want to get other people engaged in crafting interactive stories with you, right? So pitching to your clients, pitching to your stakeholders, pitching to your team. Let's talk about that, okay? Because, even in my community, we craft interactive stories. And, I can teach you all the skills about interactive stories and crafting amazing scenarios and engaging emotionally moving things. But if people aren't sold on it, then they're not going to promote it for you. They're not going to buy into your projects. So I've got some strategies and some tips for you to help you do this, because it's like, the other part of the game, right, is being persuasive and making sure that this is a good fit for the problem that you're trying to solve. So if that sounds exciting, if that sounds interesting, you better stick around. You better say hi. Let me know if that sounds exciting by giving me a hashtag excited. Seriously, I do check those comments out. So let me know. That's great. Cool. All right. Awesome. So first off, when we're talking about especially, it's funny because I thought I would actually, this would be a topic that would be, super related to only one thing, which is, business, but it's not. Sales is persuasion. It's all about emotions, right? It's all about connecting with somebody in the right way. And it's crazy because when I first started freelancing, which is a decade ago now, I really didn't know about business, right? I really had this employee mindset, which there's nothing wrong with it. It's just different, right? That I would sit back and things would happen and I would, people would see one of my demos and be like, yeah, this is amazing, right? And yes, sometimes that happened, but there were also times where I really had to persuade and hustle. And it frustrated me in the beginning because I thought, well, why can't they just see it? Why can't they just see what's happening? So, a couple of lessons there that I'm going to share with you. But first off, I just wanted to bring us back a little bit to interactive storytelling because this actually has a very legit point for you, okay? So, by the way, you better say hi if you're stopping by. I love to see who's in on this. Okay, so, and if you say hi, then usually I use your first name as the case study if I'm doing stories. All right. So one of the things that I talk about in my webinar, elearningsecrets.com, is that when we're trying to get people to engage in the learning journey, right? One of the things that we're trying to do is get them to jump in, and they don't know necessarily what's up ahead for them. They don't know how difficult learning something's going to be. They don't know any of those things, right? It's a kind of like an adventure. It's kind of like a journey, right? They know where they want to go. They want to save the princess in the castle. They want to take their kids to Disney World. They want to do all those things that this achievement's going to help them achieve. They want to be the guy getting the trophy at the annual gala because they're the top leader in the organization. Those are all awesome, worthy things, right? So they see the end in mind, but they don't know what it's going to take to get there. And so basically what your interactive story is trying to do is get people excited about jumping on that journey, right? Now, here's the challenging thing. A lot of us produce learning that is designed for people who are already emotionally invested in investing in themselves. They're like, okay, I will take the extra time. I will step out of my comfort zone. I will feel like a fool again because I know in the end it'll be a good thing because, not knowing is not a comfortable place to be, right? So you got to sell people on that journey. But sometimes what happens is if you're trying to craft an interactive story, and if you're trying to do that with somebody who has not been in those shoes recently, then you're going to craft something that doesn't talk to them, that doesn't speak in their language. I call this technobabble, this industry expert speak jargon. So, if you actually talk to an expert and you say, okay, so why should somebody learn this? They'll give you all these reasons. They're all very valid, but they're valid for this expert now. They're not the reasons why this expert got on this journey, right? They're like, People at this level, right, what they're doing is they've invested time, they've sold themselves in that journey. Because they've sold themselves, they've invested more time, and they've amalgamated a bunch of things that used to be, 5 or 6 different steps. Now it's a single step for them, and they're absolutely passionate about this topic because it's become a part of who they are, right? Great. Our learner is not there yet. And so by letting this person go, here's all the reasons, you can actually turn them off this journey. And that's what we're trying to solve with an interactive story. So therefore, to actually get the connection happening, because this person is unsure, what we need to talk to the practitioners. And the practitioners are people who had been in the situation, right, before jumping on this journey, 6 months to a year ago. They still remember the struggle. And then you ask them questions to identify that journey so that we can then slowly get them introduced to the different layers of this journey, whether that is taking some training, whether that is live workshops, whether that is mentorship or coaching, whatever your organization has as far as that ecosystem of learning, right? Performance support, peer buddies, mentoring others, like those are all things that can be part of that journey. But somebody needs to be sold on it, right? So that's why I say you can't really, your experts are there to verify facts, but they are not going to be very helpful in crafting your interactive story because most of them, if they're at expert level, have forgotten what the struggle's like. And we have to sell that person on this journey. And therefore a struggle, the conflict is a huge part of it. Nothing is easy, right? So does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Anyways, so here's what's important for you to get, right? It's when we come into those situations where we're actually pitching our specific solution to a client, and we're like, we craft the most amazing interactive stories, or I know an interactive story is going to be a fit for you. I learned through this project about the different things you're trying to achieve. It's going to be great. One of the things that happens then is you become this person. Now consider this, and I'm like, I think this is a pretty good analogy here. Consider this is your client. They just want an outcome, right? They want to get someplace. They're like, I want to increase staff retention. I want people to really start engaging with our learning resources so that they can become better salespeople or better leaders. I want us to have lower compliance claims, whatever that is, right? Now, if you come in here and you're like, by the way, we're going to do articulate storyline, scenario development. It's going to be score and packaged. And also, I'm going to need subject matter experts. So what do you think? It's going to be great. Also, it's going to be super engaging. This person right here doesn't speak ID speak usually. And what they're thinking this is what most of them are thinking. This sounds like a lot of work. This sounds like something I'm not comfortable with because I've never done that before. And I'm not sure. And so what I want you to think about is that you have to approach those interactions with your stakeholders the same way you would, and this is a mind shift for a lot of us because a lot of us don't even do this with our learners. We dump technobabble on them expecting them to love it because I got to tell you, I talk to people every single day who say, my learners aren't motivated to learn, or my organization, it's not a learning organization. That's total BS. People learn things every single day. I talk to people who go to an Etsy and Pinterest, and I'll come to their house and they'll be like, I'm like, what happened? What is that? And they're like, yeah, I just looked it up and they had a tutorial and my son wanted to build it, so I just did. And I'm like, people learn every day. They do. The purpose isn't there, right? For you to learn at work. People learn every day. There's no such organizations as not a learning organization. It's called people, humans. And so what you have to do is you have to start addressing them as humans, as people. So when somebody tells me our organization is not a learning organization, I'm back against the wall. I don't believe them. They haven't really thought about their audience and really done the research as to how you can engage them. Because we, in our industry, We're learning machines, right? We love it. We're going to research things and look at stuff. Although I got to say, there's a little bit of a silo. Like I talk to people every day who have not really checked out any games, who have not gone to any conferences that are not L&D, who don't actually look at design sites. They only look at like their Twitter feed. You know what I mean? So there's myopia happening everywhere, right? So what I'm proposing is, when you're talking to your customer, realize that relationship when you're first starting it and when you're launching, when you're trying to launch that product, what you're trying to do is you're connecting to them on a one-on-one relationship basis level. In the very beginning, we tend to be very rational focused, like I'm trying to solve this problem, and that's very good. But our client is probably looking at other things as well. Here's some other things. Do I like this person? Huge. Nobody hires people they don't like. That's why, we'd say, who's job hunting? Do you have a relationship in that organization? Because people only want to work with people they like and trust. So you have to ask, do they trust me, right? The other thing is, am I speaking their language? And you can only learn the language that they're speaking by listening, like a lot. When was the last time somebody really listened to you? I mean, really listened to you? Were you not like, oh my God, this person really cares? That's what you got to get good at, listening, because then you can learn the language that those people are saying, what's actually important to them. And then you can say, is the thing that I'm doing aligned with what they need? And that builds trust as well, because people want to know when, stuff hits the fan, is this person going to listen to me? Do they care about what I think? And that creates a bit of that synergy, saying, hey, if you listen to me and you care about what I'm saying, then, and I know then that the solution that you're proposing is not because you wanted to propose that in the very beginning, but because it's something that actually you deduced I was needing based on our conversation and the extended time that you actually took the time to listen to me. That's huge. It really has to match, right? And also think about the fact that you are establishing a relationship that may go for way longer than you think. So instead of thinking of one-off transactions, think, this person's going to be a customer probably for life. And some of the best relationships that I've had with my customers, we've had projects for years. They'll come back to me when it's the right time for an interactive story, and they'll say, let's do this. Let's do this again, right? So that's what I want you to think about. The other thing that's huge is show them a working prototype, show them working software. People don't have you don't have the imagination to say, I'm going to build us a bunch of scenarios and they're going to be wrapped in a story and they're going to move people to change. Most people have no idea what the heck you're talking about, right? So if you can't show them an example, and I say show them an example if you can, it's best to have one of your own in your portfolio to say, hey, here's exactly what I'm looking for, something that they can actually experience, right? Or quickly build them one that is scrappy, but also shows them the potential, and then it gives them something to work off of and give you feedback off of. Those are small investments. And, a prototype, you could put together something in a couple of hours, but this person now gets what you're trying to do after you've gone through all the other steps. So, yeah. The other thing, it was so cool. Yesterday I was talking to my partner, Ryan, who's also a coach in our interactive storytelling community. And I got to go soon because I got another meeting. But he said, I just love Thursdays. Thursdays are my favorite day. And I was like, Thursday? Why Thursday? And he's like, listen, what happens on Wednesday is you do a midweek assessment, right? And you're like, how am I doing? And then you realize Thursday is the day that if you really want to, you can catch up on all your work and actually still have like a super week. And I'm like, that's a cool way to think about it, because I was always like, Fridays, but Thursday's kind of rocking, right? Do you agree? Anyways, so I hope you found this useful. Listen, I'm going to be running some live webinars where you actually get to interact with me in Zoom. There's going to be about 100 people, limited seating, but it's going to be live interactive. You're going to be able to ask questions. I'm going to be showing you some new case studies from the students that have been working through my program. So you guys see, proofs in the pudding, right? And that's coming up in August. So if you're interested in that, go to elearningsecrets.com. You can definitely watch the webinar that's there on demand right now. But also you get on my list, and when my live session is there, the people on my list will get invites first to that event, which will be running two, one for people in North America and one for people on the other side of the globe. All right, so I hope you guys have a fabulous day. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please let me know in the comments. Also, like or share this video. It lets me know that this is something that you find valuable, and then I can do more of that. All right, any questions, please pop them in the chat, and I usually get those answered. If not in tomorrow's live session, then usually I just pop in and see what's happening. All right, so thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and take care, friends. See you next time.